The inception of this journey, in its core characteristics, resembles the riddle of the chicken or the egg. That is, was it my early love of video games that spawned my interest in history, or my interest in history that led me to seek an immersive experience of it through the medium of video games? I can remember two distinct memories from my childhood that may or may not have marked the genesis of my current fascinations, but I suspect my subconscious inclinations lay deeper. The first was finding a copy of The Two Towers in my old public school library. The image of the Dark Tower by John Howe graced the cover of the worn paperback. I was instantly enthralled. I was too young to understand do not judge a book by its cover, and I had yet to learn the importance or the vast reputation of The Lord of the Rings in any case. And yet, for all of its medieval spectacle, the charge of Erkenbrand and the Battle of the Hornburg, this was not history, and even then I knew that men were not as gallant and chivalrous as the ones in the stories. But it was a start, and yes, I knew The Two Towers was the second book. Someone had already signed out the fellowship. The second memory was quite distinct, yet oddly reminiscent in tone. I believe, although without much evidence, that like many of my generation, my first foray into the world of medieval history was through William Wallace. But for me, the story of the legendary Scottish warrior would not be told through the movies, for I didn't see Braveheart until many years later, but through a video game. Age of Empires 2, The Age of Kings merely starts with the story of William Wallace and his battles against Edward Longshanks. It continues to tell the story of Frederick Barbarossa and his many campaigns, Genghis Khan's conquest of Eurasia, Sala-ad-Din's fight against the Crusaders, and Joan of Arc's war against the English. When I had finally finished the game, I knew that this obsession was far more than just the thrill of conquering virtual kingdoms and building imaginary empires. Like any good history enthusiast with a gaming streak, I came across the Total War games. I remember being at my local EB trying to choose between Medieval Total War and Stronghold 2. I'm glad I chose the former. Fast forward to this video and I hope I made clear the oddity of its nature and the style of its narration. I chose the Crusades by Caius Britannicus because it is a mod I enjoy and have rarely seen played. I chose this style because I am an avid reader, and although I do not presume to be a good writer in any sense, I hope that this style of narration will not be too much of a hindrance to some and indeed enjoyable to others. Also, I suck at multitasking, and this gives me a way to play through the game and then commentate on it afterwards, which I'm told by dark-minded Sith is perfectly fine. As for the content of the narration, it is my goal and wish to discuss, mostly lecture and regurgitate in parallel, the in-depth history of the Crusades using A History of the Crusades by Kenneth M. Seton and Company as my primary source and structural inspiration, and the features and artistry of the mod so lovingly crafted by one man. In addition, I will also be referring to A History of Christianity, the First 3,000 Years by Dermot McCulloch, Jerusalem, the Biography by Simon Sebag Montefiore, and the always venerable Wikipedia. I have always seen, in the realm of video games, insofar as much as they are art in the manner of literature, music, television, and movies are such, that games can communicate ideas and illuminate the mind as powerfully, if not more so, than any other medium. It may be that it is still in its infancy, and thus the geopolitical themes of the Call of Duty franchise and the historical fantasies of the Assassin's Creed series are still treated as nothing more than mere window dressing. But those days, I believe, with much conviction, are drawing to a close, and if you will only listen, you might find that games have much to say already. And it is in this light that this Let's Play will be played and created. For what could be more enlightening, deep, morally ambiguous, and potent a topic of discussion for a game to tackle than the Crusades? Perhaps by playing the game we vicariously and innocuously further our own subconscious Western imperialist attitudes. Perhaps we may find a better understanding of the conflicts and interplay of faith, state, and the other unseen forces of society. Perhaps. And so, with much anticipation and reticent joy, let's play The Crusades.
Enemy cowards, run! Drive them from the battlefield! Victory lies in your grasp, and there is nothing the enemy can do but run!